Hello there, I'm Ashwarya Kapoor. You're watching the midday news on Rajya Sabha television. And let us start with the headlines. BJP-led government passes a floor test in Goa in a special assembly session. New Chief Minister Pramod Sawant proves majority on the floor of the House. Prime Minister Narendra Modi targets Congress on its preference for dynastic politics. In a social media blog, he reminds party that people voted for honesty over dynasty in 2014. BJP steps up its Main Bhi Chaukidar campaign. Prime Minister Modi to exchange holy good wishes with 25 lakh Chaukidars in a nationwide interaction. Rahul Gandhi to campaign in Manipur and Tripura. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu urges media to encourage people to vote, advises it to present facts fearlessly while criticizing paid news in the first Atal Bihari Vajpayee Memorial Annual Lecture at IIMC. And President appoints a former Supreme Court Judge, Justice Pinaki Chandra Ghosh, as India's first Lokpal, with 4 judicial and 4 non-judicial members. Lokpal to have powers to investigate a wide range of public servants, including the Prime Minister. The top story this afternoon, the BJP has passed the floor test in a special session of the Goa Assembly after 20 MLAs voted in Pramod Sawant's favour. Newly appointed Chief Minister Pramod Sawant has won the floor test. Only 15 members voted against him. And now let's get you all the news on the upcoming Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has targeted Congress over dynastic politics in a social media blog. He said that the biggest casualty of dynasty politics are institutions. In a blog titled Institutional Respect and Institutional Contempt, Two Contrasting Approaches, PM Modi said that in 2014, people voted decisively for honesty over dynasty. Alleging that the party did not believe in internal democracy, Prime Minister Modi said that if a leader wanted to head the Congress, he or she would be shunted out. He alleged that the Congress saw the defence sector as a source of income. Also listing the government's achievements, the Prime Minister said that in the last 5 years, the Indian economy has seen remarkable growth, reminding people to remember the past before the Lok Sabha elections. PM Modi asked people to be vigilant and work hard to strengthen institutions handed to us by the makers of our constitution. And on the eve of Holi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address over 25 lakh Chaukidars through audio bridge medium as he steps up his Main Bhi Chaukidar campaign in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections. Party's media head Anil Baluni said that PM Modi will share the colours of Holi with watchmen across the country in his address. The Prime Minister is also scheduled to interact with the people who have pledged their support to the Main Bhi Chaukidar campaign from 500 places in the country on 31st of March. Noting that watchmen work around the clock without taking any leave, Baluni said that PM Modi's initiative is aimed at highlighting the works of people like them and added that it was an important step for improving the lot of the last man in the line with the BJP's slogan of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Meanwhile, the Internet and Mobile Association of India and the social media intermediaries have agreed to draft a code of ethics for the industry in the next 24 hours after being asked to do so by the Election Commission. On Tuesday, representatives of 6 internet companies such as Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, were called by the poll panel to discuss the issue of evolving mechanism to prevent the abuse on social media platforms. The Election Commission also wanted to ensure that elections are insulated from outside influence. The poll panel has asked the social media platforms to voluntarily inform the users about the consequences of indulging in unlawful conduct during the elections. The meeting comes after the Centre for Accountability and Systemic Change sent a notice to the poll panel urging it to take action against the misuse of social media to influence voters. And a meeting of the BJP's Central Election Committee, or the CEC, will continue to meet today at the party headquarters in New Delhi to further discuss the names of candidates for the upcoming elections. The party also met on Tuesday to deliberate upon the names of the party's candidates in various states for the Lok Sabha elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, and senior leaders of the party were present at the yesterday's meeting. The CEC is deliberating on candidates for the 91 seats that go to polls in the first phase on 11th of April. And in addition, the names of candidates for the 97 seats in the second phase are also being finalized. Meanwhile, in Chhattisgarh, BJP has decided to drop all its 10 sitting MPs in the elections and field new candidates in all the 11 seats. And the Election Commission on Tuesday directed all the political parties to desist from indulging in any political propaganda during their Lok Sabha poll campaigns involving the activities of our country's defense forces. The Election Commission issued an advisory to the presidents of various political parties in this regard. The EC said that the new advisory is in continuation to its earlier one on the use of pictures of defense personnel in campaigning. The EC's direction came after a picture was shown with a hoarding which showed the images of Indian Air Force Wing Commander Abhinandan Vardhaman and the leaders of a political party. The EC has also asked the political parties and religious leaders from refrain from using places of worship for propaganda during the Lok Sabha polls and also not to indulge in activities that may cause tensions between different castes and communities. The Model Code of Conduct is in place since 10th of March when the Election Commission announced the Lok Sabha poll schedule. News from the Congress's camp, the party has released its sixth list of 9 candidates for the elections. It has named 7 candidates for Maharashtra and 2 for Kerala. And with this, the party has so far released the names of 146 candidates for the polls that start from 11th of April. The list was declared after the meeting of the party's Central Election Committee chaired by Congress President Rahul Gandhi yesterday. And Congress President Rahul Gandhi today said that tackling a job crisis and increasing connectivity is his party's priority. Rahul Gandhi arrived in Imphal on Tuesday evening from Arunachal Pradesh, and he was interacting with the students of Manipur State Film Development Society in the state capital. The Congress chief went to the BT Park to also pay tribute to the 1891 Anglo-Manipur War heroes. He also held a meeting with the party leaders to discuss a poll strategy at the Congress's Bhavan. Later in the day, Rahul Gandhi will also visit Tripura, where he will address another public meeting at Khumpui Academy ground in Agartala.
Special status to the Northeast will be reinstated. You will get it back. I am committing to you here again that the special industrial policy for the Northeast that was snatched away from you is going to be given back to you.
Meanwhile, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra reached Prime Minister Narendra Modi's constituency Varanasi today. Later, she will visit the Kashi Vishwanath temple. After a visit to the temple, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will also arrive at Asighat, where she will interact with the fishermen and women here. She is also scheduled to meet the families of Pulwama martyrs in Varanasi. On to some other news. In a historic first, India gets its first Lokpal. Former Supreme Court Judge Justice Pinaki Chandra Ghosh was appointed as India's first Lokpal, the anti-corruption ombudsman, by the President yesterday. Justice Ghosh retired as a Supreme Court judge in May 2017. He is a member of the National Human Rights Commission since 29th of June 2017. Former Chief Justices Dilip B. Bhosale, Pradeep Kumar Mohanty, Abhilasha Kumari, besides sitting judge of Chhattisgarh High Court Ajay Kumar Tripathi, have been appointed as the judicial members in the Anti-Corruption Ombudsman. And former First Woman Chief of Sashastra Seema Bal, Archana Ramasundaram, ex-Maharashtra Chief Secretary Dinesh Kumar Jain, former IRS officer Mahinder Singh, and Gujarat cadre ex-IAS officer Indrajit Prasad Gautam have been appointed as the non-judicial members of the body. Now, these appointments will take effect from the dates that they assume charge of their respective offices. The appointments were recommended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led selection committee and were approved by President Ramnath Kovind. The Lokpal and Lokayukt Act, which envisages the appointment of a Lokpal at the centre and Lokayuks in the state to look into the cases of corruption against certain categories of public servants, was passed in 2013. The Lokpal appointment comes a fortnight after the Supreme Court asked Attorney General K.K. Venugopal to convene a meeting of the Lokpal selection panel. In midday news, time for a very short break. We'll be back with more news on the other side. Welcome back after the break. News from Karnataka, where the death toll in the building collapse at Dharwad in North Karnataka has touched 3, with one more body being pulled out of the rubble. Rescuers have so far pulled out 56 people from the debris of the 4-storied under-construction building, which collapsed on Tuesday afternoon. The collapse took place in Dharwad's Kumareshwar Nagar, about 400 kilometers north of Bengaluru. Rescue operations have been intensified to extradite 30 people who are still believed to be still trapped beneath the debris. In addition to 10 ambulances and 5 fire tenders deployed for the relief and rescue operations, 3 teams of the NDRF have also been pressed into service. About 150 police, fire and emergency personnel also have joined the rescue operations. According to reports, construction had been going on in the building for the last 2 years and work was ongoing on the 3rd floor. And Chief Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has instructed the Chief Secretary to supervise all the rescue operations. He has also instructed that the injured be airlifted if required. And amidst debt-ridden Jet Airways massively cancelling flights and grounding most of its fleet, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, or the DGCA, on Tuesday held an emergency meeting with the cash-strapped airlines. The DGCA during the meet told Jet Airways to immediately address the passengers' woes. DGCA said that it has instructed Jet Airways to comply with the relevant provisions of the applicable CARs for the facilitation of passengers regarding timely communication, compensation, refunds and providing alternate flights wherever applicable. It added that the data will be constantly monitored by DGCA on a regular basis. The meeting comes after Aviation Minister Suresh Prabhu gave a direction to his ministry's secretary to hold an emergency meeting after Jet Airways cancelled massive number of flights. DGCA also reviewed the performance of Jet Airways on operational, airworthiness and passenger facilitation. The DGCA Jet Airways meeting came after the airline engineers on Tuesday raised a question mark on the safety of the planes being flown by the airline due to non-payment of the employees' salaries. Meanwhile, in more trouble for Jet Airways, an umbrella body of its domestic pilots on Tuesday also threatened to stop flying from 1st of April if their dues are not cleared by the end of March. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today delivered the first Atal Bihari Vajpayee Memorial Annual Lecture at the Indian Institute of Mass Communication in New Delhi. The theme of the lecture was Role of Media in Molding an Enlightened Public Opinion. Addressing the gathering, Vice President urged the media to stick to facts and present them fearlessly. He added that media has an important role in promoting participatory democracy through enhanced voter turnout, which in turn broadens the base of the foundation of democratic governance. The Vice President said that decades of democracy in our country has ushered in social changes by giving voice to the voiceless. Germany has initiated a move at the European Union to designate Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar as a global terrorist, days after China blocked a bid at the United Nations to ban him. Sources said that Germany has floated a proposal to ban Masood Azhar by the EU, but no resolution on the issue has so far been moved. Germany was reportedly in touch with the several member nations of the European Union for listing Masood Azhar as a terrorist, which will result in his travel ban as well as freezing of his assets in the 28 countries of the European Union. All the 28 member countries of the European Union will have to support the move to ban the Pakistan-based terrorist, as the bloc decides on such issues under the principle of consensus. Remember, on 15th of March, France had also imposed financial sanctions on Masood Azhar and had said that it will work with its European partners for putting the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief's name on the EU list of persons and entities involved in terrorist acts. News from Africa, where cyclone Idai has triggered a massive disaster in the southern Africa, affecting hundreds of thousands of people. The region has been hit by widespread flooding and devastation, affecting Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Malawi. Mozambique's President Philip Nyusi called it a humanitarian disaster of great proportion. He said that more than 1,000 people may have been killed after the cyclone hit the country last week. Cyclone Idai made landfall near the port city of Beira on Thursday with winds of up to 177 kilometers per hour. And in Zimbabwe also, the government says that 98 people have been killed and more than 200 others are still missing. President Emerson Mnangagwa visited the country's flooded Chimanimani area on Thursday, and Mnangagwa said that his government is in the process of assessing damage to provide adequate assistance, adding that neighboring countries South Africa, Botswana, Namibia and Angola have also offered help. The European Union announced on Tuesday an initial emergency aid package of $3.97 million to Mozambique, Malawi and Zimbabwe, and Britain has also pledged up to $7.96 million in aid. Kazakhstan's President Nursultan Nazarbayev has announced his resignation after nearly 30 years in power. The 78-year-old leader had ruled the country since it emerged from the collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s. In a broadcast addressed to the nation, Kazakhstan's president said that he has decided to step down and that the chairman of the Kazakh Senate would take over. He added that the decision was not an easy one, but he wanted to help a new generation of leaders. His announcement came a year ahead of the country's next scheduled presidential elections and amid growing frustration over falling living standards. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching.